I'm Jacob Hamilton,
And I'm Hidro Joseph.
and welcome to the Hardwood Huddle, a basketball podcast where we break down the latest news and games in the NBA and basketball world. Hidro, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We got a finals game 7 tomorrow.
Yup.
Very unexpected.
First time in 9 years, right? 9 years, 9 years, because that was obviously the LeBron James 3-1 comeback or the Cavs 3-1 comeback. But before we get into the episode, I just want to preface this. We'll be having like a 2 week break from this will be our last episode, and then we'll have a 2 week break in between. I will be on a 2 week long vacation in Africa, so we won't have anything then. But when we come back, we'll have we'll start with like a lottery grading system. We'll go through and see how we think these teams drafted well. So just wanted to put that out there as well. And make sure to use Opus
Man,
Clips. Make sure to use Opus Clips for your AI clipping needs. It helps me a lot. So I'm guessing it would help out a lot of other people as well. But all right, let's jump into this
we're
game
losing
6.
2 weeks. We losing 2 weeks, man. NBA
I,
draft,
I know.
all the commentary, some of the trades that are gonna pop off.
Terrible timing, right? Terrible
We're gonna
timing to
come
go on a
back.
2 week
We'll
long
be we'll be
trip.
back in time for summer league, but
Yeah. Yep. July 6th or 7th, I believe I get back. I'm not too sure, but and summer league starts what, July 20th through like the 26th or something. I don't know. I don't watch too much of summer league. I'll watch like the first couple games of like the big guys like Cooper Flag, Dylan Harper, and all of them. But like once that, like I'm not gonna go and turn on like a like the Thunder. I'm not gonna watch a Thunder summer league game. Like that's just not happening unless they get like a guy like Igor Demon. But who knows, right? That's what we'll have to wait and see. But game 6 initial reaction. How do you think game 6 went?
game 6, Thunder Pacers.
I
The Thunder
I
had a
can
chance to go ahead.
I can put I can say the
Yeah, go ahead.
score real quick. Obviously Pacers win game 6, force a game 7 on force a game 7 in Oklahoma, but obviously one in Indiana. Pacers win 108 to Thunder 91. We'll start with the Pacer side of things here. TJ McConnell with 12 points, 9 boards, 6 assists, and 4 steals. TJ McConnell was playing like it was like his last basketball game ever. Pascal Siakam, 16 points, 13 boards. Nemhard with 17. Obi Toppin with 20. Tyrese with 14. Neesmith with 10. Ben Shepard with 7. And Ben Matherin 2. Miles Turner with 3. Tony Bradley got some good minutes out there with 3 points, but that's for the Pacers side of things. For Thunder, Isaiah Hartenstein, 10 points. J-Dub, 16. Jay Will, 7. The MVP, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander with 21. Isaiah Joe with 11. And at one point, this was a 30-point lead for the Pacers as well. So that's, yeah, I mean, James Johnson was ejected as well out of this game. But opening thoughts, let's hear it.
Man, uh, difficult series to predict. Um, thought it'd be, I thought it'd be fairly simple to predict based on even though the coach on one side's got a few gadgetries at his disposal,
Yeah.
but the other team, the Thunder, still had a, just a better arsenal of players.
Yeah.
But imagine they're holding. There's not a single pacer that's averaging over 20 points a game
It's crazy. Well, I think
for this
Pascal's at like
finals.
19.8, right? Like I think it's something like that, like very little, but it's under 20.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing these low numbers, and you're thinking that the defense is having an effect. The Thunder defense is having an effect, but in reality, for whatever reason, like they weren't even close in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So I've listened to people smarter than me try to break it down,
Yeah.
and they're they're confused as well as to
Yeah.
how the Pacers are managing to fluster the Thunder. So I'm guessing, for me, in my opinion, I think that them avoiding them limiting the amount of turnovers that they're doing, that they're committing, the Pacers, is making it hard for Oklahoma City to turn defense into offense.
Yeah.
That, and I think that they are keeping trends, like something that they do consistently. They're trying to keep that stuff inconsistent to kind of throw the Thunder off of guard and make them thinkers. So it's interesting that the age of the Thunder, and you bring them into this type of atmosphere, and it's like, all right, if I have intelligent enough players, maybe I can do different schemes to kind of fool them from play to play, not even just from game to game or quarter to quarter or half to half type thing.
Yeah.
And so I think they're giving Shea different looks, and he's out there having to do more thinking than he is kind of just reacting.
Yeah.
And his natural reaction is to, hey, I'm going to go score. I'm not going to pass the ball because I'm the MVP. It's on me, this, that, and the other. And that generates less ball movement. It's a hit or miss league. If he's hitting them, great. But at the same time, his teammates aren't getting hot. So you're not going to get those random 20-point-a-game scores, 30-point-a-game score from a role player type thing. If your MVP is not handing them the ball, like Chet Holmgren is not getting any lobs, so he's not being helped.
He got a lob from Isaiah Hartenstein though, but then proceeded to miss it. Like that's also on the table there. I mean, Chet's got a big thing for me coming, but yeah, I mean,
there's a lot going on with Chet. I'll let you handle that. I will just say from the Pacers side of things, everybody. I'm glad that Tyrese Halliburton was able to play and play effectively. It didn't seem like he had a hurt right calf, which was what I was told was going to be a 1 to 2 week injury if it was not for it being a do or die game. So he played through it, but it did not seem like he was injured at all. So maybe they were exaggerating the extent of the injury a little bit. But congrats to the Pacers. This is the closest they've ever been to an NBA Finals victory, and I'm sure the entire city and state is super excited, and I can't wait to see what they have in store for Game 7, despite the fact that I'm still not understanding what they're doing to generate victories. If they're to win this finals, it'll be the first time I think this season that the Thunder's lost 2 games in a row.
Yeah. I mean, for just initial thoughts, I have some notes here. More or less, all these notes that I have are first half notes from Game 6, and because nothing really happened in the second half. It really didn't seem like there was much change, and so I only have first half year notes, but that doesn't really matter. But the defense of the Pacers in that game was crazy. It was great. I'm pretty sure. This could be wrong. I think they held the Thunder to a 91 offensive net rating, which is the lowest that it's been for them all season. That could be wrong. That number could be wrong, but just want to put that out there because that defense it looked like it was the Thunder's defense out there guarding themselves almost. But I mean, I want to start Pacers side first because obviously they won. Tony Bradley's first half minutes were crazy in the second quarter, just out hustling everybody. Like I said, he only had 3 points, but just his impact on the floor was just crazy. It's like Tony Bradley's really getting this type of impact here. And TJ McConnell, of course, was like what I said, playing like it was his last game of basketball ever, and like how he was going to win the Finals MVP. But yeah, the offense for the Pacers looked great as well. The Tyrese and TJ minutes as well looked great together. We didn't really get to see that much we haven't seen that much of that. I don't know about regular season. Don't really remember that much of the regular season for the Pacers side of things. Other than that, they had a better second half. But I mean, it really kind of threw the Thunder off badly when Tyrese and TJ were there because it was more or less like Tyrese almost looked like a decoy out there sometimes, and then he'd come get the ball and do what he normally does and hits step back threes or acts like he's going to hit a step back three and does a jump pass to Aaron Nesmith in the corner that eventually leads to a three. And 16 points off of turnovers in the first half for the Pacers and 2 turnovers in the first half for the Pacers as well. But for the Thunder, it was legit. This is what I have here. Legit just J-Dub and Shea. 31 combined, 42 total team points. That's all it was that game for the first half, at least, was just J-Dub and Shea. It was 16-15. I'm pretty sure J-Dub had the 16, Shea had the 15. But Chet needs to step up offensively in game 7. He's shooting, I'm pretty sure, like 20% from the 3-point line in this series. So they're really just letting Chet just shoot whatever. They're kind of just leaving him open in a sense. But just terrible offense from Chet. He needs to like get to the rim and just be aggressive. And especially when you have Miles Turner not playing good as well, who should be trying to play even better because he's trying to get a good contract this offseason. But it's almost like they're canceling each other out, so it doesn't really matter as much. But yeah, just terrible. It was a terrible game from the Thunder. The defense of the Pacers really threw them off guard. So that's pretty much all I have to say about game 6. It was a blowout. I mean, what is there much to say about a blowout, right? But
it was not expected.
No.
A lot of people expected the Thunder to go and seize the moment and claim their first championship there, but it's almost as if they punted on this game. A very dangerous thing to do, by the way, to give away games with the expectation that all of a sudden the shots you think were off and on the road all of a sudden go in at home. As a matter of fact, it could be the total opposite. All of a sudden you start hearing the fans out there and they're holding their breath and you can feel the tension in the air, and all of a sudden each miss is like magnified. Your free throws get tougher. The silence is deafening when it comes to that type of thing. Any kind of turnover feels like you're costing your team the entire finals. The finals MVP is up for grabs. Literally, it's a tie. It's a tie series. So, if some random role player goes off for 50 points in this game, is he the finals MVP? Or you're just going to give it to a guy that's averaging under 20 points a game? It's like, I'm not sure where they're going to go with that, but it's interesting, and I think we'll get into some of the other how it compares to other finals in the past. But we're on to game 7, which is on Sunday. Today is Saturday.
So kind of just my opening thoughts about game 7. Everything that we've seen in the last 6 games of this series goes out the window for me in game 7. Game 7 is like what was everything goes out the window. Everything for me. It goes out the window. It goes out the window. It's game 7. It's game 7. What do you think? Like
so you mean everything that Chet? So you mean to tell me the way Chet Holmgren's been playing goes out the window?
Like Chet and Miles Turner are not getting a pass for me here. But like everything else, like it's game 7. Anything happens, you're going to put your body on the line. Now you have the offseason after this game, so everyone's going to be playing at their 100% or as close as they can get, obviously, when you go through a full season and the playoffs into a game 7 in the finals. But I mean, now it's
if the Thunder throws everything out the window that just happened in a couple of days ago in game 6, they're going to lose in the same fashion in game 7, because nothing about that was, we just need to play harder, or they got a scheme. I would not throw everything out the window.
Not everything out. No, I'm not talking legit everything, right? But like more or less everything that like we've seen, because it's like who knows what type of player Shea can be in a game 7 of an NBA Finals. What if he goes out there and does the 50-point game and gets him that Finals MVP? Like
it tells me if he goes for that much, it tells me that he didn't pass the ball and they can still lose despite him scoring that many points. Because it playing by yourself is not indicative of winning as a team. Like if this was an individual sport, sure, hand him the trophy. Like
of course,
we give it to Jordan every year. If it was a individual thing, we give it to LeBron every year. If it was an individual type of thing, but the whole team has to play. If he scores 50 and nobody else scores over 10, they're gonna lose. Indiana scores too much for that to be a thing. Yeah,
and I'm like obviously like everyone knows this. Role players play better at home. I feel like that's just kind of, I think I said that last episode as well. For the Pacers side of things, because their role players didn't play well in game 5. But do
role players play well in game 7s? Let me
It's
pull
at
up that
home.
game seven. Let me pull up that game seven that Oklahoma City just did against Denver, so I can
Denver.
see uh, who really stepped up and all that stuff. It was a blowout, so
Yeah.
a lot of these people might have just got their numbers at the end of the game where it didn't actually matter.
More or
But
less need to check like what the box score was like at the end of the third quarter. Like if it was if in a blowout game, because this game, like obviously like it looks closer than it is, but their bench guys legit played. Like everybody on the Thunder played except for Nikola Topic, sorry. And that, he's just injured, so he can't play. But yeah. Chet had 4 points and 6 boards in game 6 as well. I feel like I forgot to say that. And Aaron Wiggins had 5. But
so in that game seven, closing game seven, SGA had 35 points. J-Dub had 24 points. Chet Holmgren had 13. Isaiah Hartenstein had 10. Alex Caruso had 11. And it looks like SGA had 4 assists. J-Dub actually had 7 assists. It looked like they were moving the ball. Got a bunch of steals, which was very impressive.
and
And
remind me of the score of that game again, if you could.
too much to too little.
Too much to too little.
It was it was like 30 points.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and for this is just thoughts on game 7 here.
125 to 93.
125 to 93. Yeah, like that. That's a legit a lot to a little. I mean, who do we think that the Thunder are going to start here in game 7, right? Because like they haven't. I watched Zach Lowe's podcast. I like Zach Lowe a lot, and so obviously like he's a great basketball mind, so I get a lot of opinions from him because he gives me ideas. And he stated that. I was like, well, who are they going to start, right? Like, are they going to stick with this Chet and Ihart starting lineup, or are they going to go back to that Case and Wallace and replace it?
If they don't know who they're going to start, that tells me right there they can't throw everything else out the
Well,
window.
they've had 2 different starting lineups.
They got to figure out what they think went right versus what went wrong, and that dictates what's the starting lineup. You're not going to just, you know what? Let me just start. Is Casey Wallace a rookie?
No, second or third year, I believe.
I swear he's like a rookie. It could be second year.
I think his brother's a rookie. I'm pretty sure his brother plays for the Hawks, if I'm remembering correctly. I can't remember his name.
Maybe that's what it is. Anyways, yeah, that if you don't know who you're gonna start, that's one of those things where it's like,
well, they know who they're gonna start, obviously, right? Like, but like we don't know who they're gonna start. Like, they could really come out there with any other lineup that, like, obviously it's going to be between the starting lineups that we've seen so far this series, which it literally is Ihart and Case and Wallace being switched out, and obviously like put into different spots because Case and Wallace isn't going to play center, of course. But all right, games
they're
prediction.
healthy. I'm happy that both teams for the most part are healthy going into these finals because there's previous finals where that wasn't the case, so
No.
You don't get that excitement when you realize like one team is missing a really good player and it kind of has an effect downstream when it comes to other players' minutes and stuff.
I mean, and like I texted you on hold on, I got to pull up our text message because like what I said, like I was just like, I was kind of nervous that this game started off way too well for the Pacers. I texted my friends. I was like, hey, guys, like, listen, like, I feel like the Thunder might come back from this in the second half. But after I saw Pascal, like, body J-Dub and put him in the rim like that, I was like, no, like, this game is not – it's not happening. Like, it's not – we're not – the Pacers aren't going to lose this. But like you texted me on Thursday, you go difficult finals to predict, and I was like, I've enjoyed this finals. I really hope we get a game 7. I don't care if it's a blowout. I just need that shit. So, and obviously we got it now. Prediction, let's hear it. Who do you take in game 7?
I've been taking Thunder every single time a prediction has popped up, and the Pacers have found a way to win every single time.
Yeah.
So it's almost like my prediction doesn't really mean anything because it just depends on whether the Thunder decide they're going to play like the Thunder 68 win Thunder team that was
Yeah.
that was playing all season. So you would think the trend would hold that they play the same way they played for 10 months, but it's not holding. Pacers and 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. I think you don't. I think if you win a game 6 like that pretty aggressively, like that was a very aggressive game 6 win. And I was obviously I live with my friends, so we had some conversations about it. I just think it's too. I think like the Thunder. I think if they were gonna win it, they would have had to win it in game 6. I think if you just keep that momentum that you take from game 6 into 7, like I just think the Pacers are gonna win it. So I'm gonna take Pacers as well. So let me write this down just so I make sure.
I think Chet Holmgren is probably beat up, man. I think his body is beat.
Yeah.
He's looking thin out there. Any kind of movement throws him to a different side of the court. Yeah. And I'm uncomfortable with that. Like his defense is still pretty strong when it comes to like the perimeter and stuff. But he's being moved all over the place. And that combination of playing against who they play first? Memphis and then Denver, Minnesota. A lot of big guys that he's being pushed around with, and now they have Indy. So I feel like his body is taking a toll on him physically, and I guess I feel like that's more what's showing up than anything because there's a lot of bunnies that he's either missing or they're getting to, like they find a way to like block it and stuff. And I always feel surprised when I don't hear a whistle when it comes to that because he's 7 foot and
so everything
managing to get their hands. Yeah, everybody's managing to either get a hand on the ball or it's there's a big man bias in terms of giving them fouls. Yeah, like because they can't really sell the fouls against a small guy. So if there's any kind of body contact and all that stuff, they push that to the side and don't really call that as much as for the guards. So I think he's being affected physically. No excuses, of course, but
no excuses. I mean, injuries happen, right? I mean, debatably the best player on the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton, is injured as well. And like what you said at the start of the episode, like that injury is usually a 1 to 2 week injury. So it's like everyone's kind of dealing with injuries at this part of the season. Nobody's going to be 100%. And obviously Chet, a guy who's dealt with injuries like from the second he got into the NBA, missing his rookie year, and then obviously this season dealing with some injuries as well. But a topic that we missed on our last episode, Desmond Bane was traded. I'll just want to go over the trade package really quick. Desmond Bane got traded to the Orlando Magic. If you missed this somehow, but I don't think anybody really did. But the Grizzlies get Cole Anthony, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and 4 first-round picks, the 16th pick in this year's draft, and unprotected in 26, 28, and 2030. And a 2029 first-round pick swap, a top 2 protected, and the 2026 first-round draft pick includes swap rights from either Phoenix or Washington. So a lot of those picks, other than the swap for Phoenix and Washington, those picks are kind of like duds. I mean, they were just added in to make that trade look a little better and look a little bigger. Because when I first initially saw this trade, I was like, whoa, four first-round picks for Desmond Bane is crazy. And I was like, wait, the Magic are going to be good for some time. So I wouldn't be too worried about that if I was a Magic fan. Do you have any thoughts on this trade? I mean, if we forgot about it, it probably really wasn't too many. Makes the Magic a lot better.
Yeah, it makes the Magic a lot better. I wanted to mention KCP.
Okay.
He won a championship with the Lakers in the bubble in 2020.
Yep.
They didn't end up retaining him. He ended up going to Denver. He wins the championship with Denver, so he's a 2-time champion. Yep. And then once he becomes a free agent, he goes and takes money to go to Orlando. He did not re-sign with Denver, so he followed the money. He spent, I guess, a year or 2 years in Orlando, and just like that, they moved him to Memphis. So I'm thinking, assuming that Memphis doesn't package all of those picks and try to add some players to be a contender type thing,
Yeah.
then KCP is going to be on the move. If he's going to stay, they find him as a significant piece towards potentially competing. And maybe they get another piece, whether it be like a Jeremy Grant from Portland or something like that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they got some players to work with over there in Memphis. But if not, if their goal is to kind of blow it up a little bit, they're looking for a trade partner potentially for John Morant if they want to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
They'll find suitors and they'll get more draft picks, and KCP is going to be rerouted for picks. So I'd be looking at a team like, I don't know, uh, the Lakers might want him back.
KCP is a guy
Knicks,
who had a terrible year last year as well. That's also out there as well, because he did not. I want to actually pull up his stats because it was really, really terrible. Let me. Contavious Caldwell Pope. The 2024-2025 season, 8 points, 9 rounded up, 2.2 boards, 2 assists, 34% from 3, and 43% from the field as well.
And how many games he played?
He played 77 games.
He would fit perfectly with a team like the Pacers, for instance. You know what I'm saying? Like, these teams that are looking to try to compete right now aren't needing a guy that's high usage. They need a guy who has won on their roster to kind of buffer what they currently have in stock. So a team like the Rockets should be interested in a guy like that. A team like the Knicks should be interested in a guy like that, because a lot of the Rockets community chatter is they think that Boston might be blowing it up a little bit to get under the tax, given that Jason Tatum's going to be out for most of the season. It's kind of like a gap year, and there's no reason to pay second apron money for a gap year. So maybe you unload a guy like Drew Holiday or a guy like Derek White or something like that.
Yeah.
And they want to give up major capital for those type of guys when you can get a proven winner in KCP for a lot less.
Yeah.
Potentially a lot less haul.
Yeah, no, and I think even a team like the Thunder, I mean, if KCP goes back to what he normally does, shooting threes, I mean, not counting this year. So if we're just canceling this year out, last year 40%, year before that 42, year before that 39, 41, 38. Like this is a guy that the Thunder can use as well. Like they need some shooting. Like they do need shooting. And if they can get him and bring him back, or not bring him back, but bring him in and get him back to the form that he normally is at, where he shoots above like 37%, I think that would be a good trade for them. They have a bunch of picks to use. I mean, I don't even know how many picks that they have. They have too many. Sam Presti kind of.
On the Orlando side, congrats to them. They got Desmond Bane, very good player, excellent shooter. I don't think they're going anywhere anyway. I liked Cole Anthony personally last season, and they had to get rid of him in order to get Desmond Bane. So I personally still see other teams ahead of them in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah. Is Desmond Bane the best shooting guard the Magic have had since Tracy McGrady?
I'd have to think
top of your head.
I'm pretty sure JJ Redick shot better. Are you talking about just shooting, or are you just talking about
just in general?
Guard?
Just shooting guard. Like the two.
I guess.
Like I saw a tweet and I was like, I kind of was like, I wonder like if I really went back and thought about it. I mean, off the top of my head, like obviously JJ Redick is there, but like
Desmond Bane has never made an All-Star.
Yeah.
I don't think they've had very much success with All-Star type of players since Tracy McGrady, Dwight Howard, and stuff like that. So I don't know. Was Hidro Turkoglu kind of playing a shooting guard, small forward type thing? Then I picked him.
Yeah. I think he can definitely be in that conversation. I mean, it was just a question that, like, off the top of your head, if you just hadn't even thought about that, or if you saw the tweet that I saw when this trade did
happen. I didn't see it, but it's kind of nonsensical because
I mean, who
reaching
really cares,
that far. nobody's reaching back that far, and we're not talking about an all-star player. We're just talking about a piece that can help you win.
Yeah.
In Desmond Bane. So.
All right. Now on to we're going to be ranking the last 10 NBA finals, counting this one as well through an S through F scale, like a normal tier, like a tier list scale as well. So, I mean, we might as well start with the finals that we're now dealing with, the Pacers versus the Thunder. So far, obviously, we don't know the outcome of Game 7 yet. Where are you putting on this through an F through S scale?
F through S. Give me the ratings. What's F through S?
Yeah, just like F through S, like, or S through F. So S, A, B, C, D, E, F, like a normal tier list. Have you ever seen like a tier list before? Like where people
You're gonna have to
like,
break it down for me.
All right, so
I grew up in A, B, C, D, E, F.
S is obviously the best. A is below. Then we have B, and then we have C, and then we'll have D, and then we'll have F. So if let's say we'll call this isn't my actual thing, but like let's call this NBA final series like an F, right? Like that's the bottom of the tier list, and then the S is the top, A is below. If you're understanding what I'm saying, does that make a little bit more sense?
Sure.
Okay,
that's cool. I'll run it like that. I've never heard it like that, but that's cool. I think that
we can just do A through F then. We can do
no. We do it your way. It's all good.
Because I feel like S is good because like there obviously in the last 10 years there's been like, I mean, I'm thinking of an S tier finals that's like above even an A tier, and I think we both know what would go in that category, but like it's just there.
To me,
I think only one final
growing up, S was satisfactory and U was unsatisfactory, and then you had it don't matter. I pick an A.
Yeah.
For this one.
I agree.
I think it's been a really solid finals.
Yeah.
I would like if the games were in doubt when it came to like the final 2 to 3 minutes type thing.
Yeah.
And we haven't necessarily got that more than like twice. But I love the comeback in game 1, and I like the resolve that the Thunder did in coming out with the second game in Indiana.
Yeah.
So, and it's been kind of, we don't know what's going to happen from most of the games. The only one I correctly predicted was game 3, which was the Pacers victory.
Yeah.
So I like the unpredictability of it. So I'll give it an A.
Yeah, no, I agree. That was where I had this as well. I mean, unless like game 7 is some crazy like double overtime game 7, like one of the best game 7s we've ever seen, but I don't think that's going to be the case. But I'm gonna put this one as an S or an A. Sorry, not an S. But going into last year's finals, the 2023-2024, Celtics beat the Mavericks 4-1. Finals MVP is Jaylen Brown. Where are we putting this on the tier list here?
D.
Yeah, that's where I was thinking as well.
I didn't find that very entertaining. I don't find 3-point barrages entertaining, and I guess Boston used that to carry them to a finals victory. Now they almost got a gap year coming. Say that, but they've still got a bunch of solid players. But if they're going to try to shoot their way to a championship again, I wish them luck, which is what I said last year.
Yeah.
And it was looking like they could potentially do it again this year, but did not come to pass. And I don't think it will. So that's my prediction for Boston's future. But in their past, wasn't an exciting finals. I loved what Luka Doncic did prior to the finals.
Yeah, everything leading up to that was great for Luka, and then that final series was not the greatest for him. And that one win that the Mavs did get was like pretty much a Kyrie carry, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, I'm gonna have to put that finals in as a D tier as well. 2022-2023, the Denver Nuggets beat the Miami Heat 4-1. Finals MVP is Nikola Jokic. I'll start this one. I'm gonna call it like a C. Like I think I liked watching the Nuggets win the finals. Like I think I was almost waiting for them to win it like 3 years until they did, and I was like, okay, like thank God that they got it. I'm happy that they did. So I'm gonna put it at a C. It's nothing higher than that. It was a 5-game series.
I went to one of the games.
Ooh.
So I saw it in person. It it was great atmosphere. I really enjoyed it.
You go to
I did
Denver
not
or
enjoy
Miami?
Miami.
Oh,
I
Miami had
got
a good
family in Miami.
environment.
Yeah. It's the finals, so
Yeah,
everybody
of
came
course, but
popping. But a lot of the players just weren't prepared for the moment type thing. It seemed like a lot of missed shots from those guys who they depended on a lot as role players who were playing like way above their means.
uh,
And I think a lot of that was exhaustion from, if you remember the Eastern Conference Finals that year, where they were up 3-0 and gave up the entire lead,
yeah, that was
especially
crazy.
with Derek White hitting that shot with zero point 0.1 seconds
Oh
left
my god.
and sending it to a Boston Game 7, and
Yeah,
everybody expected Boston to be the first team to come back from 3-0. Jason Tatum rolled his ankle. They were getting blown out regardless.
yeah,
It's really difficult to beat any team for 4 games straight. Um, and I guess they had very. It felt like they had very little going for them going into that finals. Game
mhm,
2 was the only interesting game, and that's
yeah,
the game Miami came back and won in Denver
yeah.
um, by a little bit. The rest of them,
Pretty much
the
washed.
conclusion was never in doubt. I'm gonna give
Yeah,
it a D.
yeah, yeah. Fair enough. I mean, it's definitely between like the C and D tier. It's not anything higher than. I mean, C is even like a questionable thing. I'm more or less just thinking about that Jimmy Butler performance leading up to that finals run. So yeah, that was the 2022-2023. 2021, 2022, the Warriors beat the Celtics 4-2 with Steph Curry as the finals MVP. And if we remember correctly, the Warriors were down 2-1 in this series, and then eventually just kind of just beat everybody or beat the Celtics and just never lost after that. So um, for me, I'm gonna have to put. I mean, it was difficult to watch the Warriors win another finals for me just because at that once we get farther down this list that they've won three of them, excuse me, leading up to this point. So I was like, I want to see the Celtics win it, and then obviously they didn't. So um, I'll give it a.
It sounds like a biased grade you're about to give,
It's definitely going to be a little
Professor.
bit of a bias grade. I'm not the biggest Steph Curry guy. I mean, I think I might have told you this off the show. I'm not too big into like just 3-point shot chucking. That's just not my thing. But hmm, I don't know. B, C and a half, B, C, C. I'm gonna give it a C.
I'm giving it a B. I thought it was interesting, especially for the legacies involved there.
Yeah,
So you had you had a Tatum and Brown getting to the finals at that early earlier time period. So
yeah,
everybody in Boston's getting finals experience.
yeah.
Um, that they were close to getting, I guess the year before. I think so, or something like that. No,
The
no, no. Yeah, they they were knocking on the door a couple of times, like semifinals, conference finals, that type of thing,
yeah,
and they finally broke through. And then on the other side, you have legacies on the line in terms of Draymond and Steph and them winning their fourth. This one is after Kevin Durant and after missing the playoffs, I think 2 straight times previous to that. So
yes,
I
yeah,
think that said a lot because they turn around and just start missing the playoffs a bunch, and now they have to offload a Draymond Green or something or a Clay
yeah,
Thompson. They eventually had to move from Clay Thompson, or Clay Thompson just walked away. But imagine if they just stopped making the playoffs and all that stuff. We'll be looking at that like as Kevin Durant's Warriors,
yeah.
and that would say a lot more about Steph Curry's legacy. But just the one uh, really put them over for me in terms of my respect for the the way they the way they marched through those playoffs and won it.
and you got to respect just the Warriors dynasty, right? Like I'm not. Yeah, I'm gonna change my grade to a B instead, because that was a very hater C that I gave. I was being a hater.
I tried to warn you before you did the grade.
It was very hating.
So
it was
you
very
already
hating.
put
Steph
it.
got his
You already
first
put it on the
Finals MVP.
transcript, and now they got to retake the class or whatever.
Andrew
Rest
Wiggins
is
played
passing.
well in this series as well, if I'm remembering correctly. And this was the year Andrew Wiggins was an all-star starter, if you remember that. The K-pop fans got him the starting spot, which was crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna change it from a C to a B. I'm gonna just off of legacy wise, just like everything the Warriors have done, you gotta have to respect it. So no hating. I'm gonna give it a B.
Steve Kerr probably has like what 9 rings now or something like that.
What? How many? Okay, so he won.
Oh crap, maybe like 11.
3. He won 3 in Chicago, right? He was on that second three-peat team. He won 2 in San Antonio.
I believe so.
Then 4, 9.
So that's 9.
9.
Okay. I'm thinking he's at 9.
Maybe I'm forgetting one. Maybe I am, but I don't think so.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
We'll go to the next one.
2021 or 2020, 2021 was the Bucks versus the Suns. Obviously, the Bucks won 4-2, and the Suns started off that series with the 2-0 lead and then got swept. But anyway, even though that's my team that lost in the finals, I'm going to give this an A tier. I had a lot of fun just watching the games in general. It was just fun for me to just see my favorite team in the finals that I've never seen before. Giannis in that game 6 with the 50-piece, the 50 burger. And then he went to Chick-fil-A the next day and was like, "Can I get a 50-piece nugget, please?" And then they obviously didn't have a 50-piece for him because they don't sell 50 pieces at Chick-fil-A. But yeah, it was just fun. I'm gonna give it an A. Chris Paul's first final got him addicted to the finals. He's helped that addiction go away because he hasn't made it back since. But yeah, I had a lot of fun watching that series. So yeah, I'm gonna call it A. I'm gonna call it an A tier final.
That's funny. Steve Kerr has 9 rings, by the way, 5 as a player, 4 as a coach.
So
I'm gonna give that finals a D.
A D?
I only like the closeout Giannis game. I did not care for much. I didn't care for the rest of the series. I did not find that particularly entertaining. I didn't find that entire year entertaining.
Fair enough.
It was still in COVID, so they ended the season in the bubble in like November or December or something like that, and it started the season like 4 weeks later. The next season,
super quick.
There was hardly any off season that affected the finals participants from last year, which we'll talk about in 2020, and I just wasn't seeing the same type of, because teams were missing entire games due to COVID. Players were Kyrie Irving wasn't trying to play in New York due to their restrictions. There was a lot going on there that wasn't basketball related.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, so you said D, correct? I just want to make sure I have it.
D.
Just got weirdly loud in my living room. Yeah, so I put it as A. That might be a little bit of bias. Giannis did win the Finals MVP that year. I forgot to say that. But 2019-2020 season obviously was the Lakers versus the Heat. Lakers won in a 6-game series. Finals MVP is the GOAT, LeBron James. I really liked the bubble a lot. I really enjoyed it. It was probably my favorite time of just watching basketball because it was during COVID. I don't know if you can really say that word on YouTube, but whatever. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun watching it. Obviously, it was fun for me because I'm a LeBron glazer. I wasn't actually a LeBron glazer at that time. I kind of was like a LeBron hater a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking, gosh. I'll give it like a B. I'm gonna give it a B just because it was a weird time. Nobody really knew what was going on. Like Lou Will got banned from the bubble, right? Because he went to Atlanta for a funeral, and then he went to Magic City to get wings. Like, it was just if I'm thinking about just everything the bubble wise, like, I'd give it an A, but we're just talking about this final, so I'm gonna give it a B.
I give it an A. I thought that was the last real interesting finals besides this current one.
Yeah.
I liked how Jimmy Butler played as if he may never come back to the NBA finals. So it felt like there was, and they had people in the stands for the first time in the bubble. So it felt like an NBA atmosphere type thing. They were able to invite people into the bubble to watch that were tested and all that different stuff. LeBron James was pretty dominant. Anthony Davis was pretty dominant.
Yeah, very dominant.
Anthony Davis managed to stay healthy.
Yeah.
And they won some very close games. I guess in my mind's eye that could have went either way.
Yeah.
And it felt like a tighter Game 6 series. Like some Game 6 series seem a lot closer than, it doesn't have to be 7 games in order for it to be close. Because I've seen Game 7-game series where it wasn't really a competition. It was just it just happened to go 7 games. And I've seen some 5-game, 6-game series that were, it could have went either way. And I felt like, if Bam Adebayo didn't get hurt and the Heat were willing to play like Udonis Haslem or a big like that, because that was all they had left, then they could have actually found a way to bring that out. So, and that would have been quite damaging to some legacies on the Lakers end.
Yeah. All right, 2018, 2019 obviously was the Toronto Raptors versus the Golden State Warriors. Raptors beat the Warriors in a 6-game series. Kawhi Leonard was the finals MVP.
You want me to go first?
Yes, and obviously this we got 2 big injuries in this series, Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson. So you go first.
I give it an S, man. I thought that was a very fun series. Kawhi Leonard, as a 1-year rental, coming out and pulling it for an entire country, the entire country of Toronto, or the entire country of Canada, with the Toronto fans that were all gathered outside, watching the games on like a giant screen type thing. Yeah, I forget what they call that area. I actually went to go visit it one time when I was in Toronto, I think like in 2018 or something. The atmosphere seems so exciting.
Yeah.
Especially when you got teams that never been to the finals before and all that stuff. You kind of see that in the atmosphere. Felt that a little bit with Denver, but it was almost like all said and done when Denver played against Miami. But this one was the legacies were going crazy. We're talking about a 3-peat potentially. With Golden State, where they didn't know what was going to happen with Kevin Durant after that series.
Yeah.
But he played as if, he was going to be there for life, and he was diving for loose balls and all that different stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of back and forth. I actually thought that Golden State was the better team, and Toronto managed to pull that out. Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, Kawhi Leonard, Marc Gasol,
Pascal Siakam.
OG Anunoby wasn't playing because he was hurt.
Yeah. Chris Boucher. I mean, just name dropping random guys. Chris Boucher. You said S, right? You said S. I'm gonna give it an A. Obviously, just because Kawhi got his lick back almost on San Antonio. It's like, oh, you guys sent me here. Now I'm gonna win a championship here. And obviously, I think I just saw a clip recently. I don't remember who was on the podcast, but they were talking to Nick Nurse, and he was like, Kawhi came up to me when he was first traded here, and he was like, hey, listen, I don't know if I'm gonna be here next year, but I'm gonna play like I'm gonna be here. And that ended up winning them a championship. So
The year before that, they fired their coach of the year and went with Nick Nurse, their assistant coach.
Yeah.
For that season. So that was crazy.
Yeah. And just that entire playoff run, obviously we had the bounce, like that thought it felt like it took 13 years to go into the basket for the Raptors to beat the 76ers. That was just crazy. But I'm going to give it an A. Just a lot of injuries and stuff. I mean, obviously, you wish you could see Clay and KD. Obviously, if they were playing, the outcome would have been a lot different. But I'm just going to give it an A, just off top of injuries and just for Kawhi, because I do really like Kawhi a lot. But 2017, 2018, Golden State Warriors beat the Cavs in a 4-0 sweep. Finals MVP is Kevin Durant. I mean, just a wash. For me, it's D, I guess, but that's only because it was just a sweep and it was everyone expected it.
You're being generous. I gave it an F.
Okay.
I watched. I just simply refused to watch that finals. I saw the last 5 minutes of the last game.
Really?
And that's it.
So you didn't watch J.R. Smith not know how much time was left on the clock. And LeBron did.
I just heard about it. I did not care.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I cared a little bit, obviously, just growing up in Ohio and just wanting to see LeBron's legacy get bigger and bigger. But obviously we knew it was just going to be a sweep. I mean, that team is just crazy and stacked. So we can move on from that.
They had no business beating Houston. In 2018, they should not have got out of there. Chris Paul got hurt, and the Rockets missed 27 straight 3-pointers in Game 7.
I forgot that. Oh my God, that was
I'll be bringing back memories. I'm sorry.
No, you're
I
good.
remember all this
good
stuff
memories.
I
want to remember
that I'm looking up. I don't look up this stuff. I just remember everything.
Yeah.
I did not appreciate the fact that it was Warriors versus Cavs again. It wasn't something that I was interested in. That was Warriors versus Cavs for. Yeah, go ahead.
That was Warriors.
So let's just keep going.
That was Warriors Cavs year 4, right? I always bring up my buddies, but we just talk. We only talk ball. That's pretty much it. Basketball, football, and UFC, and that's about it. But we were talking about it, and I was like, I feel like I want to go back and watch a majority of these series. Obviously, the first final series against the Warriors and the Cavs, and obviously the Game 7 series that we'll get to eventually. But I just wish I appreciated those Warriors teams a little bit more, just because I was pissed. I was like, I don't want to see the Warriors in the finals again. But we'll move on. 2016, 2017 Warriors beat the Cavs in 5 games. I mean, just another series of just wash. What? I think Kevin Love was the second highest leading scorer on that Cavs team again, if I'm remembering correctly. It was just
Kevin Durant dominated them.
Just dominant.
In the closing minutes of pretty much every game.
Yeah.
I would give it a B if I'm a Kevin Durant fan. In terms of just watching as a neutral observer, I gave it a C.
Yeah, I gave it a C just because of what Kevin Durant. That was a crazy Kevin Durant performance in that finals. His first finals MVP kind of got just the ultimate villain, and when he won it, he was just hitting the pose of just holding the championship trophy, finals MVP in his hand. I love Kevin Durant.
But you're watching everybody, and everybody say boo because that team won 73 games the year prior.
Yeah.
And only because there was a salary cap, there was no cap to how big they wanted to bring in the extra money from the TV deals.
Yeah.
Everybody had max cap space that year.
Yeah.
So you had random role players that were able to sign $60-70 million contracts, even though they did not deserve that type of thing.
Ryan Anderson, obviously Ryan. I was gonna say, if you remember Ryan Anderson, but your Houston Rockets, I'm pretty sure gave him a fat contract, in that.
Him and Eric Gordon both.
Yeah, Yeah, fat contract, because then the Suns had that contract there at the end on like his like last deal, and I was like, what, why would we even trade for it even though it was expiring? But you had it as a C, correct, or a D?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kevin Durant, former MVP, joins a 73 win team,
Yeah.
and the championship was decided in the previous offseason.
Yeah. Now, 2015, 2016, the Cavs obviously beat the Warriors in 7 games, coming back from a 3-1 deficit. Finals MVP was LeBron James. And before we started doing this list, I obviously said I only think there's one S tier on here, and for me, it's this. But if I'm remembering correctly about that, because that was some time ago, and I was pretty young then. Every game like leading up to that game 7 they weren't very close, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, you gonna steal my grade? Go, keep going.
I said it's an S. I said it's an S. That's me.
I think there was only like 1, maybe 2 games that I actually liked from that series. Game 7 being the one, iconic type of game.
Of course.
So Game 7 gets an S. In terms of the series, it wasn't a good series, man. I give it a D, to be honest.
Whoa! Even with the Game 7,
it wasn't
games, the 41 piece for Kyrie and Bron, like that. Oh, that was great.
Game 7 gets an S. The rest of the series was almost an F, and I'm not talking because LeBron was down 3-1 or anything like that. It was just the games didn't feel very competitive.
Yeah. No, fair enough. I mean, I'm not going to hate on an opinion, but I'm not going to agree with that opinion. That's just me. Obviously 2014, 2015, the first year of Warriors Cavs, Warriors won in a 6-game series. Finals MVP was Andre Iguodala. This series, I mean, the Cavs, Kyrie and K-Love both go out. I mean, it would. I'm gonna call it a C, just because it was the start of the Warriors dynasty. But like more or less, it's probably closer to like, yeah, C. I'm gonna call it a C.
I got an A for this one.
Okay.
LeBron James was playing by himself. His Robin was Matthew Dellavedova.
Yeah. He almost died out there.
And the reason Andre Iguodala is the Finals MVP is because LeBron James took a lot of the Finals MVP votes away. He was just that dominant on both sides of the ball. And if Miami had that LeBron James in 2014, then they would have had a closer series against the Spurs, despite all of the ball movement that the Spurs were running. And I guess the Golden State mimicked that in 2015. I think that it was a closer series than it looked on paper. When you have Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving being out, LeBron James was just a force onto itself right there. That was the one time I felt like, you know what, this is my first time thinking that Cleveland can win a championship type thing. That year they brought a brand new coach in, what was his name, David Blatt, I believe.
I believe so.
He was a first year coach, and LeBron James was sitting there in some instances calling the timeouts and all that stuff, almost like doing the coaching for the team too. So felt like he was doing everything for that 2015 team, and they ended up getting a new coach, even though the following season, Tyronn Lue, the assistant coach, after halfway through that season, and they won that championship. But that 2015 finals, I mean, if Kyrie Irving would have stayed healthy, forget the Kevin Love. If Kyrie Irving I think he was healthy and then got hurt, and that first game went to overtime.
Yeah.
If Kyrie Irving would have stayed healthy, I think Golden State could have potentially lost that series. Yeah, because they were hot though. They were hot.
And if I'm remembering, I was 11 years old when this finals was happening. This was some time ago. So I have to like obviously like go back into the vault of my
Oh,
brain.
you can tell me. I'll help you out. I
Yeah.
definitely remember
The
when
Warriors
stuff
were like
going.
one of like the like lowest betting favorites ever to win the finals that year, right? I'm pretty sure. Like they were like plus some, they were like plus 1,000 plus, like even higher than that. From me, like obviously going back and doing my own research on it.
I'm not sure about the betting odds
Yeah.
for anything. Like I'm not like a better type thing,
Yeah.
but I can tell you that in that run, you had guys like Mike Conley who had like a facial injury, ended up missing some games when I thought that Golden State could have lost to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah.
You had a couple other injuries. I think when Golden State, so in 2015, Houston came back from 3-1 to
Yeah.
beat the Clippers in the semifinals, and a shocker with I think James Harden being on the bench. They just rode with Dwight Howard and everything else,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, Houston was suffering from like floods and different stuff that was happening in this during
Stuff
the
that's more
playoffs.
important than basketball.
Yeah, stuff that's more
Yeah.
important than basketball. So when that conference finals came up, Golden State didn't seem to have a problem with Houston. I think Houston was even missing some players then. I think Dwight Howard might have been hurt. Well, somebody was hurt,
Yeah.
but somebody was hurt in the first round, second round, third round and the finals for all of Golden State's run, and everybody thought. Not everybody. A lot of people really love Steph Curry for that. That's where he started gaining his true fame.
Yeah, because that was his first unanimous MVP year.
I think maybe.
Right?
I think it was the following year.
Yeah. Because
the following year he was supernova.
I mean that's a 73-9
in,
Warriors team that came back from 3-1 to beat the Thunder. Like that, I mean, that was just like, I mean, that year 2016 was just perfect, man. That like for me at least, going back and thinking about
Steph Curry got hurt in that Rocket series.
Mm-hmm.
So Golden State, through their dynasty, the Houston Rockets were kind of like a foil, even though the Rockets could never beat them in any series. But Steph Curry got hurt in that finals, and it kind of in that I guess that was the semifinals that they played the Rockets, and I think he missed part of some games or missed an entire game, and they found a way to win that. But he was kind of playing a little injured when they went up against Oklahoma City in the conference finals. That year, I picked Oklahoma City to win the finals. I thought they would win the whole thing that year. Kevin Durant was unbelievable. Russell Westbrook was playing incredible. They proved it to me by beating the team that everybody thought was going to win in the San Antonio Spurs that year, defending NBA champion. They knocked them out. Russell Westbrook was incredible in that series. Yeah. They were up 3-1, found a way to lose. Then Golden State kept that momentum going in that finals to go up 3-1, and Draymond Green was kicking everybody in the nuts that entire playoff run. So he ended up having to be suspended for Game 5 of the finals. And
he was suspended for Game 5 if I'm remembering correctly as well. You know what? I feel like we should do, because the off season, obviously we're not going to have too much stuff to talk about. There's obviously going to be some drier episodes. I feel like we might have to do some episodes of like some like just like old season recaps, because I feel like going over, especially like some of these like seasons, like especially like that, like the 2014, 2015, and then obviously 2015, 2016, like those would be some good years to go back and just recap and
talk about. You could just give me a year. I'll tell you what I remember just off the top of my head. And
1989.
1989. Nothing. I know that the Pistons won.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that might have been the year that where they played the Lakers in the finals.
It is. And they
Magic Johnson, but I think Magic Johnson and James Worthy, it was two major players for the Lakers ran into each other in practice and were both out for that entire finals.
Yeah, I mean, what are the
Yeah,
odds?
nobody remembers that, but yeah,
Yeah,
that was why they were able to kind of move forward, no problem.
yeah, no, yeah. Maybe we'll have to go start doing more of these like tier list things because they're pretty entertaining to do. Just kind of like to actually go back and just think about that stuff because I'm not really thinking about like too much. I'm not really thinking about that 2018 2019 year. So it's obviously just interesting to go back to. But all right, Hidro.
That man said 1989.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a number to throw out. That was just you were like, ask
How
me
old do
any
you think
year.
I was in 1989?
No, I mean, yeah,
How old do you think I was in 1989?
I'm not even gonna guess. That would be like a terrible. It would be like,
Was I alive?
Were you alive? Is that the question?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, I was alive.
All right. Well, there we go. See, like you learn new things every day. We're on episode 21, and I'm learning things about my co-host here. But where can they find you?
I am at the Hero Joe, THAHEROJOE on X, formerly known as Twitter, as well as Instagram. And you can find my articles on BellyUpSports.com. I promise I'll write some more. I've just been busy.
You can find me at Hammy2004 on Twitter, HAMIE 2004, not HAMMY, like I always say. Obviously, you can find us on Twitter at Hardwood Huddle. The Hardwood Huddle was taken. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Use our affiliate link in the description below for Opus Clips. Like what I said at the beginning of the episode, helps me with our clips. AI is too useful these days. Thank you to BellyUp Sports. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share with everybody. I don't really care who watches as long as people are watching and giving us feedback. That's always helpful. But all right, Hidro, have a good one.
Game 7 of the NBA Finals.
Make sure to watch it. What time is the Game 7 at? What time is the Game 7?
Ooh, that's 8 o'clock Eastern.
8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock my time, Sunday. I mean, people need to be watching this game. I hope people were watching this series. I'm interested to see the viewership numbers because everyone said this was going to be a bad finals, but look at it now. Game 7, first one in 9 years. All right.
I hope Scott Foster's not reffing.
Yeah, probably not. There's no chance I get the extender in for Game 7. That's not his place.
You gonna extend it to 8?
Who knows? If Chris Paul was there, it wouldn't be extended to 8. But yeah, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. It helps us out a lot. So thank you for watching and see you.
Peace.